Welcome, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show, March 26, 2021. Producer James in the building. How you doing, James?
I'm doing great.
Man, big show today. Got two big guests, locked and loaded. I've already been communicating with them throughout the day. In our first hour here in about 10 minutes, we'll have Mr. Ross Alexander. And then later on in the show, about 7:50, we'll have Micah Franks talking UFC 260. Big weekend. I'm looking forward to it. But before we get into that, lots of moves in the NFL. We've had recently the Philadelphia Eagles making trades, as well as the Miami Dolphins and the San Francisco 49ers. Early in the day, the 49ers trade up to the third pick, moving the Miami Dolphins to number 12. Then about 10 minutes later, the Eagles decided to get into the game, and so they moved to 6. Philly goes to 3, Miami goes to 6. I think that's right. Did I say that right? Anyways, there's trades going on everywhere. At the end of the day, that's what's mainly the importance. Looks like we're getting Ross queued up here in a little bit, but before we get into it, Producer James, you ready for 260 this weekend?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You fired up?
Yeah,
you fired up about it?
Yes,
let's take a actually before we do that, real quick, want to just give a quick shout out to Mainer's athlete Shea Nwabuko, who picked up an offer today from Marshall. Really cool to see that. Man, that Gross Kill, we talked about Gross Kill, the receiver out of Anderson High School. And, man, that edit, shout out to Edward, that edit that he did is gained 90% of the attention on Instagram. At Recon Athlete, if you'd like to go see that, go over. You can just search at Recon Athlete on all of our platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're rushing through real quick just because we got a lot to get to today. But shout out to the Wizard, man. He's doing a good job. And he has a plate sale coming on this weekend?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll get into that later on after our guest. But let's take a quick UFC break for shout out to Mr. Derrick Lewis. And then once we come back from that, we got Mr. Ross Alexander on the flip. Did you watch that UFC main event with Black Beast out of H-Town?
I did not.
Bro, but he was fighting the number 2 overall heavyweight last week, and I was looking at the odds. I was kind of looking at the bets, and Lewis, Black Beast Lewis was a plus 350 underdog. So that means if you'd have bet 100, you'd have made 350 plus your 100 back.
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Derrick Lewis.
Why? What the hell's wrong with you?
He's not what everyone makes him out to be. He is so overrated, dude.
What the hell? Okay, explain. After that fight, he has the most heavyweight knockouts. I think he tied Cain Velasquez.
He is good for that one punch, but I mean, when you fight like an elite,
like an elite grappler, wrestler, like what was it? Somebody helped me out with his name last week. I'm gonna look it up while James is trying to prove his point. That's probably gonna fall on deaf ears.
He called out Alistair Overeem after the fight. He said he wants to fight Alistair Overeem. Alistair Overeem has already said he's going to retire. And he was like, no, you have more left in the tank. He said, I still want to clap them cheeks. And it's like, bro, Alistair Overeem is well past his prime. Yes, he is a legend of the sport. It will add on a name to your resume, but it's not shit. Like, for fans that, like, know the shit, like, at this point in your career, knocking out Alistair Overeem isn't shit. Maybe
Lewis was looking up to him while he was coming up, and he just wants to have a good battle as a nostalgic match for him and Overeem. Don't you think, like, have you entertained that thought?
No.
Come on, man. Think outside the box now. Anyway, shout out to Lewis. He tied Cain Velasquez with the most heavyweight knockouts in UFC history.
I do appreciate his post-fight interviews.
Derrick, why'd you take your pants off?
My balls was hot.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. No further ado, let's get into it. If you need your assets protected financially, this is the man to call. If you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, this is the man you're going to want to hate. At the end of the day, he's my cousin. I'm going to claim him in time and every time we meet. Ladies and gentlemen, Ross Alexander. Ross, how you doing, cuz?
Good, man. How you doing?
Man, producer James just screwed up and didn't even clap whenever I was like bringing you in.
Whenever we do that, my hands are.
All right.
Your hands are quick as lightning. That's all I know. Bringing us back from break. No, producer James does good. Ross, cuz, how's it going, man? What's that shirt you're wearing? What is that?
Oh man, this is I used to back in probably about 8 years ago. I used to coach CrossFit
Okay.
over in West Texas, right in between Lubbock and Midland. And Murph is a WOD that during Memorial Day that pretty much every boxer across the country does. It was a man. His last name was Murphy. There was a movie actually made about him, or not him personally, but about his crew, and he saved a bunch of other Navy SEALs.
Oh, wow.
He sacrificed himself to get radio transmission so that help from the Americans had come during the mid 2000s, and he took shots, sacrificed his life on top of, I guess, like a plateau, and he was able to get transmissions. The bad guys were bombed, and the other Navy SEALs were captured, or were saved. I apologize, were saved.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was actually a very athletic man. But he knew it was a one-way ticket when he went to put that radio transmission up on top of that plateau.
Man, shout out to Murphy, man. Shout out to Murphy. Thank you very much. I mean, he made the ultimate sacrifice. Man, and for them, y'all to pay like respect to him. Everybody does that annually across the country?
Yeah, annually, man.
Wow.
It's got to be one of the toughest workouts you can do. You have an hour to run a mile. Then after that mile, you have to conduct 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 squats, and then run another mile. And you have an hour to complete that.
Have you ever done it?
Yeah, I completely. Yeah, I mean, when I was doing CrossFit, I did it every year. Of course, man, I can't think about doing that right now.
Yeah,
I'm
me
not in
neither.
CrossFit shape. That's a whole different animal. But it's one of those things, man. A little bit of sacrifice for you.
I've never been a guy who's going to be able to do CrossFit. I'm just going to put that out there real quick. But
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, man. I didn't, the things I was actually capable of doing at 260 pounds, like got there, was this. I never thought I could do that. So it's very deceiving. CrossFit is not only about what you see on TV on ESPN during the games. I mean, it could be as little as teaching somebody how to get down in a proper squat, or how to, who has an injured shoulder, and how to get their full range of motion back. So it's a really cool concept. I know people hate on it. I'm a former football player and power lifter, and I'll be honest, I vouch for it.
Now, Ross, I need to know, and you need to enlighten me, because I've known you long enough, and I remember, when social media became big, and tell me and tell the people, maybe because I've wanted to know, and I knew I was going to ask you this question. Mm-hmm. How the hell did you become a Philadelphia Eagle fan? How did that happen? How does that happen in Texas and in Central Texas?
You know what, man? I'll be, a few different factors. Of course, my dad was a big fan, and my brother's a fan of the Cowboys. And, during that time, everybody was just always about Aikman and Irvin and Smith. And, I've always liked to be a little different. So, I mean, when I was little, I really didn't have a team. But I'll tell you, one player who I loved to watch was Randall Cunningham growing up. And he just happened to play for the Eagles. But that was one time I never knew what he was going to do. If he was going to punt the ball, if he was going to go out for a pass, if he was just going to, give everybody some jelly and take it to the house. But he was so fun to watch. And then that love for the team grew when I was in college, and they drafted Donovan McNabb. What's wild is, like, I just happened to catch McNabb one Saturday, like on TV when he played for Syracuse. Like, man, I really like this dude. And, then the Eagles, us being defensive guys, people don't know me. You played next to each other
right.
in for 2 years in high school, it is a 3 technique and a nose guard. And so, of course, we're defensive guys. And, during that time, that front seven was just monstrous in the mid 2000s. You remember that? 4 trips to AFC Championship. They finally got 1 trip to the Super Bowl. And unfortunately, the GOAT took him out with Tom Brady. But, it just started, man, like one of the, like I said, man, start off with a player that I really love to watch, and that was fun to watch. And it just kind of grew from there.
So you mentioned McNabb, and you know everybody understands the drama between him and T.O. Are you Team T.O. or are you Team McNabb when it comes to those two guys and their beef while their time in Philadelphia?
Man, I've never been much of being a prima donna, man. I think
Okay.
I think when you're a prima donna, that's a very selfish aspect to have, and you're taking a lot away from people that work hard, you know. And I will tell you this though. I will tell you this. I'm a Donovan McNabb fan. I'm also a T.O. fan in different aspects. I'm a T.O. fan because I respect the man's grind. Even nowadays, man, I just watched a video this summer. This dude was like literally like outran a few collegiate pro athletes. The dude looks like he hasn't aged in 20 something years. Um, and I will say during the Super Bowl, that's the one thing, man. I like Donovan because on paper he's great. You could tell he's a good human being. But man, when it came really down to the big games, man, Donovan was just
Yeah, man, that's kind of how it really looked a lot of times. Even when there was a time I remember when he played the Cowboys and he had Dallas dead to rights, and somehow, some way, it was on Monday Night Football. Dallas came back. I like stayed up late to watch it, and like in the end, he did choke in that game, and unfortunately, that's how it did kind of last for a lot of those teams. But the Eagles were very talented in the 2000s for sure, and I was just kind of curious. I really wanted to learn that like from you just directly because I've never really understood it, and I love seeing your banter online with all your Cowboys cousins and friends all over the football season.
Oh man, they know me, man. They're gonna come at me.
Oh, they're hunting you for sure. Yeah, and the good thing about it is whenever the Cowboys do as they do and play mediocrely or playing mediocre ball, you come hunting for them. That's the good thing. And that's what I love to see about. Let me hear them Cowboys talk. I don't know if you know, but I've labeled a lot of the Dallas Cowboy fans DC4L zombies. That's what I like to call them because it doesn't matter. And I'm a Cowboys fan through and through. Don't get me wrong, but at least I'm objective enough to understand that if they don't play well, I'm going to identify why they didn't play well, and I'm going to go ahead and blame the right people. And usually I end up blaming Jerry Jones because he's the guy who's going to make or sign the check at the end of the day.
Man, I really I think being a Cowboys fan has made a lot of fans almost have to hold yourselves accountable, right? Like,
well, you should as a fan.
On paper, man, y'all have it almost every year on paper.
Hey man, but there's a reason why it's called a paper tiger, because it doesn't mean a damn thing when it's on paper. It means what the production is whenever you're out there on the field. Now, I've seen what you're doing, Ross. You got a lot of great projects going. Talk to a little bit about the people about your insurance aspect, and then as soon as you get done with that, I love what you're doing with the young youth here in the Lockhart community. I've taken on a certain mantle with Recon Athlete. We'll get into that later, but talk a little bit about your business, and I want to get to some exposure just so we can kind of spread that word for the community.
Yeah, so well, I'll just kind of it's like a bookend as far as with my fitness journey and what I do there, and then what I do now with insurance. So, like I said, it's like a bookend. So I'll start, of course, in 2000. I've always kind of done something fitness wise. I was a 2-sport collegiate athlete. And then after that, I always had a little side hustle of personal training, CrossFit training, and so forth. Well, I kind of went through a big lull in my life around 2013. Just couldn't seem to come out of it. I was working. I was like, I was making good money for me. In 2013, it just seemed like everything in my whole life came crashing down, and I moved back home. By 2014, I was living in my mom's. Went through a divorce. My father passed away. Couldn't find a real job. I had a friend whose family gave me a job, making a little bit, but it just, wasn't enough. Wound up working a call center. I'm a man with a college degree. I was making, almost $100,000 just the year before, and yeah, man, I hit a low point in my life, and so I actually I went out to do a workout with a buddy of mine one April out the high school football fields, and he was like throwing up. By the end of it, he was throwing up.
Wow. And
we're sitting there, and he's just like, bro, like, why don't you like do this Like, why don't you do this?
Like
I was
full
like, what do you
time?
mean do this? He's like, dude, like, why don't you get people together and start working out? So, man, I just took a dive. I quit my job. You know, I mean, I wasn't even, wasn't a lot to talk about anyways, but of course, you know, it's money is money, right? And so I said, man, I quit my job and I started doing my ball strength fitness was what I started off with, man.
Yeah.
And it was a boot camp style. And I just started off by saying, hey, come and try me out. And then about 2-3 weeks later, I said, well, man, you know what? Just give me some donations. And those donations were pretty good donations, man. But people were showing up. You know, I put myself on social media. People were showing up, and it got to the point to where I couldn't keep in track of those donations. So I just said, you know what? Let me just give you a flat rate. And I started coaching over there at the library downtown. I was doing personal sessions all day long. I was grinding, man. I was doing sessions at 5:36 a.m. I was doing two groups in the evening.
Hell yeah.
You know, then of course I got into teaching and stuff like that. And, you know, that's when I kind of, you know, I fell in love with the kids on that end. Then I got into insurance around 2018. So I have 4 years of doing ball strength. I went ahead and just closed shop. I said, you know what? I'm about to move into a new industry. I actually applied in Lockhart for 3 different physical education positions. Of course, that would be also had some coaching in it. I set up peer coaching programs for troubled youth at this previous school I was at. I'm from Lockhart. I thought that was going to be a shoe-in.
Yeah.
And I guess the powers that be thought differently. You know, I think it's their loss. I talked to a few people that are some leadership positions yesterday. This story kind of came out, and they also said the same thing. That's, you know, that's the loss of the community on that aspect. But
so people
God has
know
a plan.
that story that you just told?
I'm sorry?
People know that story you just told previously?
Well, yeah, so I'm part of a Chamber of Commerce leadership program in Lockhart right now. It's a year-long program, and we were in a leadership class yesterday, and I started talking about what I had done in Elgin, and then they asked how come I didn't stay in teaching. I kind of pretty much told them, you know, my thing was I was being recruited to do insurance and sales, and that was a big background of mine was sales, and I was being recruited to do that. And then I said, well, you know what? If I don't get this position in my hometown, sure, I'll give it a shot. And like I said, I had 3 positions open. Like I said, the decision maker, she didn't think I was a fit. She's no longer in Lockhart. I would have still been here. Like I said, it's the loss of that. And even those leaders in our community said, you know, it's a loss of the school district. Now, granted, do I think I could have had a position by now? I totally think so. But, you know, like I said, God has a plan. I went into insurance. I stopped Ball Street Fitness, and just wanted to focus on that new aspect of my life for the next few years. And I think I've been doing pretty well so far, as far as building my business on that end.
So how did you get into, like, with the war room? Like, what was the transition? What was the motivation to kind of get back into like that private training?
Man, I had a few people hit me up throughout the past few years, hit me up to do some one-on-ones, and you know, I was pretty diligent. I was very hesitant in doing that. Then I started having people say, man, we really miss you. I'll be really honest, man. Once COVID started, I didn't work out myself for a year and a half. You know, I was really, man, I'll be honest, dude. I've always kind of put, you know, health and fitness in the forefront, but I was like, you know, I really want to be successful with what I'm doing here. And this was the first time I literally put my health on the back burner. Now, so I started to kind of tell that based on my weight gain. I was having a lot of indigestion issues. So COVID was a blessing in that aspect. It slowed my life down. I started actually doing better as far as insurance goes, and establish myself in the community because I could no longer go to the office in Austin.
Right.
So I was just doing more footwork here in the community in the rural areas around the Austin area. And anyways, man, I just said, you know what? I started getting itching for it. And I was like, I really miss the camaraderie. I miss people, you know, just being in there. There's a different type of life around me. So I got with an old fraternity brother of mine, that does that. He takes care of some of my finances and my taxes.
Okay.
And I said, hey man, we started running some things by, and he's not a fitness guy, but he's just a very smart person as far as how to brand. And so I was like, I don't want to be ball strength anymore. I want to rebrand. I want to bring something new. Well, as a few of y'all probably see, I mean, if whoever watched it, but I know I've definitely held my tongue on the political realm for the past few years because of my business. But you definitely know I'm very outspoken, and I have very, I'm very, very, I guess, let me see, very opinionated on my politics and my way of life, and so, but I'm always welcome to new ideas. I love having dialogue. That's my thing. I love having dialogue as long as it doesn't get carried away and doesn't get threatening. It doesn't get, outside of what we're talking about. Anyways, that's where the war room almost came from. So COVID has brought, based on what I like about politics, football, and we all know, I mean, for most of us that follow football regularly, we know what happens every year. It's called a draft. And of course, I just became more spiritual again, started praying on daily, started meditating. And I was like, I was talking to my fraternity brother and I was like, man, should we do this? Should we do this? And I'm just laying on the couch. And then all of a sudden, war room just pops in my head. And I was like, you know what, man, this hits me personally on so many aspects of my life. Once again, a passion for a sport like football. Mm-hmm. And like I said, you and many other people that follow football, what happens almost to every team, they have a war room that they go and draft and they can negotiate.
For sure.
Politics, that's just something I fell in love with growing, when I was in college, I didn't even think about it, but, every president and his administration, they walk into a war room, right? And
making their big decisions.
Making the big decisions. A lot of times, I mean, I'm pretty sure we get 10% of what they talk about in that room. And then, of course, on a spiritual aspect, man, you have the war room, which is pretty much a little area that people go to pray in. And that room is strictly for those that pray in. So that was part of it, man. Another part of it was once I got back into getting my health together, I don't know if you've seen some of my ads and something. I always talk about bring your ego. I don't know if you've noticed that. I said, bring your ego in here.
You said you want people to take their ego into the war room?
Into the war room.
Okay. All right. I'm going to follow this.
This is something. What's up?
I'm going to follow this. I'm going to follow you down this road. Let me hear this.
All right. Yeah. So, man, you know what, man? I am a huge Mike Tyson fan. Okay. I am a huge Mike Tyson fan.
Kid Dynamite.
I'm sorry, my wife was trying to. I'm a huge Mike Tyson fan, just based on how the man grew up. But if you sit down and listen to the man, his boxing IQ is insane. Also, his awareness of himself is insane. But if you listen to one of the things he talks about ego. And he got to the point in his life where he said he can't even talk about boxing because it brought out something in him. It's his ego. And when he meant his ego, that's what brought out all of his threatening presence, all of his, us Hispanics call machismo.
Yeah,
he said, I didn't like the person I was when, or the person I am. Now, granted, we've seen recently, he's brought his ego back and even said it, my ego's come back, and he even discusses, it looks like he has control of it,
mm-hmm.
Based on what he did. And I think all of that also just goes based on the people that you put yourself around. Anyways, man, what I started doing is I'd be in my own home gym and I'd be working out, and all of a sudden, man, I would just go into a trance when I'd work out, man. I know I'm not doing this special, bro. I'm not lifting a bunch of weight. I'm not doing, I'm not doing backflips, but I had, getting away from everyday life. I had to bring my ego, and man, all of a sudden I was like, man, I'm like GOW, and that's why I put down, on my Instagram. I have and it's GOW, man, God of War, and from that, all those things that come together, I was like, the war room. Bring your ego into if you're spiritual, if you're an athlete going into something or somebody running it, if you're political, you have that. But man, you want to go in there and you want to be somebody different for an hour, come into the war room. Bring your ego, be somebody different than you've been. release the stress. If you want to and that's who you are. And when you look at yourself in the mirror, it's your ego looking back at you. And then that's where that came from. And it's a different type of, the reason why I rebranded to the War Room is because I want a different type of mentality to come into my place. I want you to come in with a chip on your shoulder. I want you to come in saying, I've got to relieve something, and I'm a different coach, man, too. I mean, as far as that goes, I want to have a different type of personality. I'm stern. I want them to respect the weight, because if they don't respect the weight, they don't respect themselves. And if they don't respect themselves, they're going to hurt themselves.
A lot of times, I was like, a lot of times, like everything you're talking about, like right now, I'm hearing Coach Elliott, I'm hearing Coach Page whenever we were in high school. And it's just like the same thing. For those teachers who taught us, you and I, it's honorable and good to see that you have become a teacher. And like, if people don't know about what coaching is, or you're a teacher before you're anything, and because you need to make sure that you can pass on the information in a digestible way to whoever you are, whoever's your pupil. And so just to hear what you're saying, when we were in school together and playing in our playing days, it's cool to see how you're passing that information down to the youth today. I was going to ask you real quick, why did the young people come to you? Because I've seen you at the Lockhart Relays. I've seen you in your advertisement with the 7th grader crew, getting in there early, which is a fantastic thing to do. I'm a very big proponent of starting these individuals early and getting into competitive training in the 7th grade years. And so how did that come to fruition for that crew and for them to come to you directly?
I'm going to say God's will. If you look back, you start taking steps back, and then all of a sudden you kind of see where things kind of come ahead. You're like, oh, that's how it happened. Mm-hmm. So once again, I'm going back to when I had interviewed as a PE teacher here and wanted to coach. I had developed a peer coaching program for troubled youth in one of the schools I taught at. And it wasn't only just for troubled youth, there was also a reward program for those kids that did what they're supposed to do. And I would bring them in during their class time, and they would help me coach the younger children in the school. Now, with that being said, they had to maintain a good curriculum and be able to uphold the behavior standards. And if they didn't, they were either not allowed to coach anymore, or they had to run and do punishments I had for them on a physical education aspect, and they were more than happy to do that. And I wanted to bring that to Lockhart, and I brought that up, and just wasn't meant to be at the time. And then so last fall, last spring of 2019.
Okay.
I was approached by a guy that we grew up with, and Josh Williams. And then he introduced me to Joe Rollins, which was him and a gentleman named Brandon Tippy, and Josh Williams, for other people, were developing a new youth football league in Lockhart called Lockhart Fighting Lions, or LFL. And so they asked if I wanted to coach with it, and I did. I said, yeah, sure. And I brought on my twin brother as well. He was my offensive coordinator, and I was the head coach and defensive coordinator for the 6th grade team. And it was a tough year. Unfortunately, the league didn't last, or the league, the organization in Lockhart didn't last. But that one season, but I tell you what, man, we were playing kids. I mean, we actually followed the rules of the UIL, didn't bring in those athletes, but, junior high kids, but that was fine because it helped these kids. Our kids were playing kids a year, 2 years older than them. Mm-hmm. And if you have seen the 7th graders play this year, these boys we coached, man, they were doing it on the football field, guys their age finally. Anyways, what happened, man, as I started putting that stuff out for anybody and everybody. Hey, you probably saw my teasers, right?
Yeah, man, we saw the ads. We did.
Ball strength is no more. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Boom. War Room came. All of a sudden, what are the prices? People are like, what are the prices? What is this? That's coming. It's just, I try to put these little carrots out there. And like I said, it's for anybody and everybody. And these kids, parents were like, hey, we like what you did with our kids in the LFL. And they start reaching out to me. And it seems like every week has grown a little bit. I have some background in coaching. I coached a cousin of mine that was an amazing varsity player this year, his first senior year. He's been great for a few years. I coached a few other, powerlifters. She went to state a few years ago. And so doing this is fine, but yeah, I mean, that was one thing I wanted to do when I interviewed. Was they had, for Lockhart, was they said, do you want to go and be a PE coach at the junior high school level? And I said, no, I'd rather stay at the elementary level. And they asked me why. And I said, well, with the high rate of single mother households or single parent households in today's world, I want to be that positive, male role model. And I could be able to, grab them in elementary and be able to, those kids on the fence. Mm-hmm. I was a kid on the fence, Paul, and I don't, there's been very few people I've talked to about me, but I mean, I was, I put it out here on this podcast. I mean, me and my brother are both arrested a few times before we were 13 years old. One of them was for assault. My brother was on probation for a while. We could have gone another way very easily. As my mom worked 2 jobs at a time. My father was paralyzed. So we did a lot of growing up on our own. We walked the streets a lot. Luckily, there were people that cared about us and showed us some tough love, but they showed us love. Right. And so, anyways, I kind of lost my train of thought, but
no, you're talking about how that
pretty much.
You're good.
Yeah, pretty much. I just kind of brought that to what I did or what I'm doing, and that helps me, I think, with a lot of this. But I want to catch these kids at elementary and say, if you're on that fence, I was on that fence, man. I had coaches that cared about me, I had people that cared about me, and I was able to say, I want to be an athlete. And I knew how to get away from certain people to do that. And so I was like, and then, like I said, it was powers to be, what meant to be, man. But you know what? Doing something like this is another way to do it, And like I said, something whispered to me to come in, start the war room. These kids are great. 7th graders. I mean, they're, they still, hey, Coach Ross. And then they have the youthfulness about them, man. It's really cool just watching them grow together. I have another kid, he's a sophomore right now, and he wants to get back into football. He played football for a few years, got out, wants to get back into it.
Good.
And it's great watching different kids from different age groups interact with each other. You don't see that a lot nowadays. When we were growing up, bro, we could go to everybody's house and we knew everybody's, older sisters, older brothers, younger sisters, younger brothers. If you played football, you knew the classes 6 years ahead and 6 years behind you back in the day. You don't have that anymore. So I think right here is, maybe a chance for me to get to have people start to come together kind of, in any way like it used to be. But man, there's just something in me, man. I just can't stay away from it. I like being around. I like coaching. I like teaching. I like being around people in that aspect, trying to pass my positivity on. And like I said, man, if it's not something that just happened. If you start to maybe backtrack, you start seeing how those things kind of came together. That's how I got with the youth, man. They did just show, let's go to this guy. They saw what I could do as far as coaching on a youth level. And I grew up with a lot of their fathers, and it kind of just goes from there.
Well, props to you, man, for really being like literally boots on the ground to kind of save. You're really going to save a couple of these young people moving forward with just introducing them to a physical activity. But I want to say thank you very much for the time tonight. It's really been enlightening, and it's been very grateful to have you tonight. But this is one thing, Ross, I ask all of my guests, and I really want them to be honest about this. But before we do that, how can people find the War Room, and how can they find you to go to get your services?
Yeah, basically look for me on Facebook. Facebook, Ross Alexander. I have another Facebook, R.E. Alexander. Find me on either of those. DM me. You could, call me. I mean, I'm gonna put my phone number out right now, 512-659. I'm sorry, 512-659-1141. Call me. That's, I use that for my insurance. I use that for the War Room. A lot of times, heck, man, I'm in a leadership class for a Chamber of Commerce, and I was talking talking to one of my classmates about getting her son over there. So, you know, you call me that way. You could email me at ross.e.alexander@gmail.com. You could find me on Instagram at Boss Strength. I haven't changed it yet.
Which we do have that right now underneath your name. We wanted to let you know that if you can't see that, we have some of your stuff mocked up so people can know, number one, who you are, number two, what you do, and where they can find you on socials. But I'm very grateful for all that. Go ahead, get with Ross Alexander if you have a student athlete, and you train boys and girls. Is that right?
I train boys and girls, and I train. Man, I've trained from 10-year-olds to 90-year-olds. Man, I'm not saying that to say like I have the know-how. I have the experience. I mean, guys, I've been doing this since I was 20 years old. I'm 38 now. I have a 2-sport collegiate athlete. I've trained under some of the best people. Charles Alston, Olympic high jumper. Bobby Warren owns a gym in San Marcos, and he's trained, anywhere from actors that are athletes to Olympic athletes. Mark Ripito was the consultant for CrossFit weightlifting. So whatever you learn in CrossFit as far as weightlifting or what they're trying to teach you, that's from Mark Ripito. He has a gym over in Wichita Falls called Wichita Falls Athletic Club. I trained over there for a few months. I've been under a great tutelage of people, and I've taken all that as I can and just learned. And I'm a very good observer. So I'll watch and I'll learn. I ask a lot of questions, and that's all I ask from people that I train. And I'll be honest, man, it doesn't mean you have to have a certification. You have a certification. You could use big words. I'll be honest, bro, I've forgot most of the big words I've learned because nobody cares to know about those, right? I won't talk to you layman's. All that matters is you do what I show you, and you do it properly, and you do it functionally. I'm going to help save you, and I'm going to help you be the best you can as far as your body goes. And one of the biggest things that people say, I can't do this because I have a bad knees or my lower back. I said, I got you. Let me help you out. Let me tell you why your knees hurt. Let me tell you why your back's hurt. Let me tell you all this stuff to straighten that up. I have hundreds of stories as far as people I have helped and little testimonies, but it's one of those things that experience this thing. It's a passion that you have, and you just kind of go for it. And hopefully one day I can help this grow even more. And I can say, well, hey, I was a founder of this, or I started this here, or it might be one of those things. I might be 60 years old and have a bunch of pictures. I did this for a few years back when I was younger.
Excellent. Ross Alexander, before I know we just led into that. What's one thing you want to tell the world? You have the world platform. What's one thing you want to tell them?
In today's environment, you're more than welcome to have your own opinion and have your own philosophy, and you do that as long as you respect others. That's what I got to say to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you need insurance, if you need to get in shape, if you need to have a friend in the community, get with Mr. Ross Alexander. Everybody, Ross, thanks for your time, bud. We will get with you soon again. Hey, will you be interested in joining? We're going to have a NFL draft party. Would you be willing to come back on Zoom and be live whenever Philadelphia makes their pick and get your reaction?
Oh, yeah. That'd be fun. That'd be real fun. Let's do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ross Alexander, everybody. Ross, thank you, bud.
Thank you. Take care.
Hey, man, you too, bud.
All right.
See, I'm over here like messing up my own mic, turning things off when I really shouldn't be. Man, it's just such a good conversation, man. I haven't talked to him like that in probably ever if I really had to really get into it. But what was your thoughts on that, James?
Had to make sure I was ready. Bro, let me tell you something, man. And for people that don't know, this right here is the reason that I got into fucking podcasting. I got into podcasting because I wanted to have a conversation with just different individuals, different walks of life, people that have their own stories, why they do what they do, what makes you tick. I was familiar with Ross, like I knew who he was, but I didn't know him personally. And I don't know if you saw me the whole time that he was talking. I'm just like bobbing my head up and down.
Yeah, I saw that.
And dude, great, just great.
You hyped up a little bit, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, man. I want to go.
You a little motivated?
Yeah, of course. After all, these screwdrivers, get through my system. Maybe tomorrow, we're gonna get back to it. But dude, That's why I like just hearing the story, where you came from, the resilience. I didn't quit. I was, everything was against me, and it's great, man. I love it. Yeah, great guy.
All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. That's going to run us right into Micah Franks. We'll have him on the flip side. Give us about 5 or 6 minutes. We'll talk to Madden before we get back, and then we'll go into UFC 260. We'll be back.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm here at my boy John's house. John's house right there. Anyways, he's the only person I know who plays Madden more than anybody else I know 24/7. So I bet you I'm gonna knock on his door. We're gonna go inside and see what he's doing. Let's see what he's doing. What you doing? Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
What you think I'm doing? Shut that door, man. There's a glare on the TV, baby. Miss that tackle. What's your problem?
My bad, dog. What's up?
Just chilling, man. You trying to see where the real champions lay at or what? So we lay that shit down. Alright, all day, online. Outside the house, we'll play outside. That's how crazy we are. We'll put the TV, put the extension cord outside. We'll play outside, even on a rainy day. That's how crazy we are. Shoot, I play probably about 5, close to 10 games a day. Anybody that's down to play, I play instantly. I don't care who it is. I don't care if they're the best in the world. I don't care if they're an online gamer. I'll play them all day, every day. You want to play at 5 o'clock in the morning? I'll play at 5 o'clock in the morning. I've done it about 8 times already. Won maybe about 90% of them. Champions always lose sometimes, but we win more. He didn't score. He didn't score though. That's the thing. I stopped him from scoring. I didn't say I was gonna stop him at the line of scrimmage. I stopped him from scoring.
Yeah.
Shoot, did I win? Did I pick the right plays? I know how to strip that ball. I know how to pick that ball. I love defense. I'm not that good at defense. I score a lot more. But I just see like the previous play, he got on the one, and I stopped him like I said I was. He didn't score. Now this is the time to shine right here. He came up the gut. My guy was just waiting. It's like, no, that's my ball. See that? You see that? You zoom in. That's what happens when you're trying to score in my end zone. Even though it says Chargers, it should say Falcons. That's what happens. That ball comes out. Like I said, my ball. You see my foot fell on. I'm on the one. I'll break loose out of that. It ain't no problem. It ain't no problem, goddamn. Told him I was going to stop him. That's what I did. That I beat him, and I can sit there and laugh in front of their face because I just won. And they're still going to be my friend afterwards because they know that they want to eat. They're going to have to lose. No, scratch that, dude. Edit that. Let's redo it.
I only got like 1 minute, fool.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm going to make shit up. One play, touchdown.
Boy,
Maybe.
I know you running that 9 route. I know you running that 9 route. I don't know even why you try. I don't even know why you try.
Double coverage, everything. Like I said, one play, touchdown. Like I said, he saw that I was running the 9 route. I did it anyway. He had double coverage, and I scored like I said.
I got something for that.
I'm a man play. Shoot, not really, because I like cracking skulls. But the thing is funny, whenever I like that hit stick up on the game, it feels like I'm doing it. So it's all pretty much similar. So I like playing it, and I like playing it.
Oh, son. Quentin who? Quentin Jammer. That's a TD, baby.
His knees hit before he went in the end zone. That's all I got.
You can't challenge a play anyway.
You
So you can't. It's too late.
Shit.
What the hell? You can't challenge it.
Yeah, you can.
No, you can't. You
can't challenge
You can challenge that. His knees hit before he wins.
Can't challenge him. It's
Trying
too
to
late.
screw me. Those are the glitches that are in Madden that everybody's seen on the internet, on YouTube and shit. I'm telling you right now, his knees hit and they still giving goddamn.
Watch this the replay. Let's see where the ball's at. Look at that pick.
Look at this. Look. Look.
Oh yeah, where's his knee? Where's the ball? Where's his knee? Where's the ball?
So good.
His knee was crossing the plane. That's where his knee was at.
I win, don't I? What you talking about? Am I the best? You shouldn't even ask me a question like that. I win, so I'm the best. Shoot, any day, all day, every day. I'm always ready. I carry my remote everywhere I go. If I'm at work and somebody want to challenge me, I'll clock out and go play them. It don't matter. I'll clock out and go play. I might lose about 30 minutes of time and a half. It's all gravy though. I'm gonna get that win, and I'm still gonna get paid. I'll make it up tomorrow.
All right, John. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. See that stuff? That's what I do all day, baby. All day. I serve sausage, but that's what I really do all day. It's my life.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show. Had a wonderful conversation with Ross Alexander there. We have queued up the next individual on the Paul Rodriguez Show. Ladies and gentlemen, the man slamming his opponents in the cage circle. The man who is running Camp Gladiator on a daily basis. Everybody, please welcome in the best beard I've seen in weeks, Mr. Micah Franks, everybody. Micah, how's it going, bud?
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going, brother?
Hey,
Everything's good.
It's groovy, bro. It's groovy. Where the hell are you at?
I'm at my brother's house, man. I'm in the man cave, bro.
I saw that neon. I'm like, dude, is he at the bar or is he at the gym? I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I'm at my bro's house, man. What's up?
How you living, man? How you feeling?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty good. Life's good. Business is going well. I'm healthy. My kids are good. I can't complain, man. I can't complain. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a grind. It's we're kind of doing the 9 to 5 during the day and then doing the Paul Rodriguez Show in the evening. But I couldn't be doing it without my producer James Santa Cruz here in the building. I'm pretty sure he'll have something to say soon.
What's up, Micah?
So let's get into this UFC 260. Before we get into the main event, what's the highlight fight on the main card for you going into UFC 260?
I mean, I'll probably have to say the main event, man.
Yeah.
Ngannou, that dude's got some sledgehammers in his hands, man. And I think last time, he didn't pull it off, but I think that man can knock out anybody on any given night. So don't sleep on that dude because it could be real quick.
What is the game plan for a guy with that such strong of a punching power going into guys who can eat those bombs in Stipe round for round, which he did in the first match, but going into it, what does he have to be a little bit different? Is it going to have to be a change in technique as far as like maybe taking Stipe to the ground, or is it going to be just playing his game and just looking for that shot and that opening to take out Stipe?
I mean, obviously anybody who's got power in their hands like that can knock out anybody, and they're just trying to get their hands on them. But yeah, it would definitely be wise for him to maybe fake like he's going to do some wrestling. I know that's not a big part of his game, but if he's at least got the dude worried about it, then that's just one more thing he's got to think about. And so when he slings that leather around, you might just catch him because homeboy's thinking about something else. So it's definitely good to diversify your game. If you're a striker, to also have someone worried about other things so that the strikes are that much more of a surprise, because obviously we know he's going to throw those bombs. So what is he going to do to hide those bombs? That's the question. Now,
you gave everybody your pick already, kind of with your lead into that conversation. But what does Stipe have to do? Like, does Stipe have to change his game and be, I don't know, like more fundamental, or does Stipe need to be just play his game. It's kind of curious because it seems like this new fight on Saturday is just going to be, they're just going to run it back to when they fought in 2019, I believe. Or is Stipe going to have to just totally change up his game plan and attack for this new fight?
I mean, I think if he's wise, he will. You know what I mean? If he comes out there doing the exact same thing he did last time, it's probably gonna be a little different fight. I imagine that Ngannou is going to change some things up. So I mean, just plain and simple, man. Like you got to come back in and always be a little bit better than you were the last time, because I'm pretty sure the other guy is going to be. That said, I think Stipe is a very well-rounded fighter. Mm-hmm. We've seen that by watching the other people that he's fought. So he's not no simp. He's not no layover, obviously. But I think if he does what he does and he mixes it up and he just takes it wherever the fight goes, because I mean, I think he's a pretty well-rounded individual and he's a very good striker. You know what I mean? And he can take a good shot. So I think that he just does his thing and does it well and does it better than he did last time. I think he can still maybe even edge it out and beat him again. But like I said, I think like I said, it's only a matter of if that homeboy can get his hands on him real good, because he could put his lights out. But
that's, you talk about Ngannou like connecting with Stipe's face.
Right.
Just send him into orbit like he did Blades and.
Oh man, or like he did Alistair, boy. He almost knocked that dude's head off.
That was literally like from a movie. When I watched that highlight, I think like 2 days ago, and I never knew that fight kind of existed, but when I watched it back, I'm like, it's like I'm watching like, Michael B. Jordan and that dude from the first Creed movie just literally knock him out clean with saliva flying everywhere.
Oh yeah, I mean it was a beautiful thing. He thought his head was gonna come off. It was a beautiful knock.
Now, Micah, you've had your time in the square, in the cage circle. I don't know if they were octagons when you fought. I was a little under the weather. I had a little too many. Octagon. Okay, my fault.
Well, I think technically the octagon is like UFC's, like kind of like a trademark thing.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So the octagon itself, that 8-sided figure, that's the UFC's ring. Most other organizations, they'll have some other shape. It might be a circle, it might be a hexagon, it might be a square ring, but the octagon, that's UFC's.
So taking your experience that you had fighting, what's it like when you watch a fight currently today? Like, do you see yourself, like, do you kind of put yourself in like a first person point of view whenever you're like cheering for a certain fighter, or are you seeing it more like from a fan's point of view?
I mean, probably a little bit of both.
Okay.
Probably a little bit of both. I definitely, I sit there and the person that I want to win, I'm definitely watching them probably a little bit more, and I kind of know what they like to do, and I expect them to maybe do this or that. But I mean, really, I'm watching it from the same angle that everybody else is, being a spectator of it. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't expect some things to happen sometimes, or just knowing the fighter's tendency, think that they're going to do this or that. Yeah, I don't know if I answered that question.
Sorry. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, this exactly did. So, what about that? What about that O'Malley fight? That O'Malley, and is it Luque? Are you not feeling that one, or what do you think about O'Malley?
O'Malley, he's an interesting fighter, man. I actually really didn't like him all that much when he first came up on the scene, just because he's so weird and he's a little cocky. Like,
yeah,
I'm not big on the super cocky guys, man. Like, I don't know, man. As a fighter, as someone who's gotten in there, like, I feel like it's like one of the hardest things just to get in there, man, to train for it, to put the hours in. Like, I feel like the last thing that anybody should do should be like just a dickhead of a fighter, man, and just the kind of cocky ones. I mean, he's not as bad as some, he's not like a Conor McGregor or anything. But anyways, but as I've watched him over the years, like he's legit, man. Like he's a good fighter, man. He's weird, he's rangy, he's got weirdness to him, and it works for him. So I mean, I've kind of become more of a fan. But I just like to see a good fight. The last fight he had, where he messed up his foot real bad and stepped on his foot the way that he did. I'm interested to see if he still got the mobility that he normally has, because that's part of his game, the way he moves around and how elusive that he is. So that'll be interesting to see. Because that wasn't that long ago. I don't think it was all that long ago that he messed up his foot.
Yeah, I think it was like 6 months ago is really when he had that. When I wonder if it was a result of the low kicks he was kind of delivering that made his foot mess up, but it could be anything. Maybe he had an injury going into the fight. But I want to know also, Tyron Woodley is coming back, and I think he's like the second fight to the main card. We got producer James over here throwing his thumbs down. What a jerk! What are your thoughts about Woodley moving forward, kind of making a return?
I mean, I like Woodley. I think he's a decent fighter. Again, he's a humble dude. He's not one of these cocky dickhead kind of fighters. So I mean, I like him in that regard.
Yeah, you can curse on this show, Micah. It's okay. You don't got to be PC.
All right, cool. But I think I don't know, man. I mean, his last fight. I mean, he fought the George Burns guy or whatever, that Brazilian dude who came up a weight class, and dude handled him, bro. I think he didn't give him as much respect as he should have. I think they were like training partners or something. But anyways, like I've seen him not in his best form, I guess, lately, which is kind of like bad, I guess you could say. But I mean, I think, like most fighters, I think he still probably has a lot in the tank. I think he's still got some fights left in him. I think on any given night, man, he could win because he's good. He's good. He's a great wrestler. He's very, very well rounded. If he's on and firing on any given night, I mean, I think he can contend with pretty much anyone in his weight class.
Did you see him? Did you see him at the? I don't know if it was an event or what, but he looks completely shredded. He looks like 8 or 9 years ago, and I don't know if that's just he looks really fit going into this new fight. So, I mean, he's an older fighter too, like for UFC standards, but I'm really excited to kind of see him get back into the octagon moving forward. But let's go ahead and let's put the shine now on Camp Gladiator, what you're doing right now. Talk to the people about Camp Gladiator and give us your pitch to sell me, Micah. I need to get in shape, so sell me.
All right. So Camp Gladiator, we started out as an outdoor fitness company, started in Dallas. The lady that actually started the company, the reason the Gladiator's even in the name, she actually went on that show, American Gladiators, that we used to all watch growing up. Yeah, she went on that show. Some of her friends and family members took her to try out the day of her wedding. She went up there with the veil on her head, and she was like, "Hey, I'm getting married today. Can we please cut the line?" And they let her cut the line. Well, they ended up calling her back on the show. She won the show. After the show, she took that money, knowing that, this was like kind of a gift from God. She had no intention of ever even going on the show, and she wanted to do something, and she started Camp Gladiator.
So she was a contestant?
Yeah.
She wasn't like one of she wasn't the Gladiators.
No. Oh. She was a contestant. She won it in 2008.
Wow. When
Hulk Hogan was the
Hulkster brother.
Yeah. Hey, brother. Yeah, he was the host of the show. And so anyways, she won the show. She started Camp Gladiator up in Dallas, and she moved to Austin. Well, she left the business in the hands of a very able trainer that she had met. And then she moved to Austin and kind of kept it going. Well, this is about 12 years later. We have over 1,000 trainers all over the nation. We provide a product to adults of all fitness levels, and people who are members have unlimited access to all of our locations. They can work out as much as they want. In our community, like just right here in Lockhart, there's 3 trainers. We have classes every single morning, every single evening. We have virtual classes starting from 3:30 in the morning all the way till 9 at night. We have over about 600 or 700 virtual trainers running, and people can just simply check in, get the workout they need. They're connected to a trainer who is trying to help them reach their goals, help keep them accountable. And that's something that you don't get at a lot of gyms or with a lot of other fitness programs. You get the membership, but that's it. You know what I mean? Like if you go to the gym, they don't call you unless you don't pay your bill. And then if you have a trainer, you're usually paying hundreds of dollars a month, if not more, just to have that trainer. Where here you have the benefit of having a personal trainer, although we do meet in a group setting. But you still have that personal trainer who's programming your workouts, who's helping you outside of the workouts with your nutrition, with whatever it is that you struggle with, to help you reach your goal. So the accountability is there that most people don't have, the programming that most people aren't going to have, and the community that most people don't have. Most people want to be a part of something awesome. And in our company, or with our fitness program, you're a part of a community of like-minded people just trying to get fit, and you're not doing it alone.
Micah, who the hell is getting up at 3:30 to work out?
Dude, there's some crazy people, bro.
Not me.
I know. Believe me, I know. I wouldn't get up that early. It's crazy. But the biggest thing is because we have people who are training from all over the nation in different time zones. So, another time zone's 5 a.m.
Oh, that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is our 3:30 or is our 3 a.m. or whatever. And that's simply it. We have people on different sides of the coast and different sides of the nation who are running camps. And so, hey, people get up and go to work pretty darn early, man. I know some people that I meet them and I'm like, hey, you could come work out with me in the morning. They're like, nah, I'm on the road already at 4 a.m. Like,
Jesus.
Damn. You need to get a new job.
Producer James.
Yeah. What's up, Micah? No, I was just wondering, what motivates Micah Franks to, want to be a Camp Gladiator coach and, want to help the community and help people, get in shape and stay fit. What motivates you to do that?
I guess probably one of the biggest things for me is purpose. I am a Christian. My dad's a preacher. My grandfather's a preacher. My oldest two brothers are ministers. My sister's a minister, or they're ordained anyway. My oldest brother, he's actually the chaplain at TCU. So that's kind of cool.
Hey, that's your that's your brother?
Huh? Yeah, my brother Chauncey Franks.
For
he's
real?
the chaplain at TCU. Yeah, he came up with the whole like fellowship of Christian athletes stuff, and he did all that kind of stuff over the years, and now he's basically the chaplain / a coach at TCU, which is really cool.
Shout out Chauncey. Shout out Chauncey.
Yeah, right. No, but so for me, like I said, a lot of it has come to purpose, and I played sports all my life. When I got out of high school, I went to college, played baseball, played a couple years. Excuse me, got a burp over here. Ended up, I guess you could say, dropping out of school when I had my first son to help raise my boy. That's when I got into MMA. And I mean, I've just had coaches all my life who pushed me to do better and to be my best. And I really enjoyed the mentorship and just having the encouragement and somebody to help me along the way. And it was actually my MMA coach who told me, like, hey, man, like, you're really good with people. You're very fit. You like to do this kind of stuff. Like, why don't you become a trainer? So my jiu-jitsu instructor, also one of my striking coaches, his name's King Webb from Luling MMA. He was actually the one that put the training bug in my ear. And so I went to school for it. I didn't want to just like get online and get a certification. I went to school for it. I went to trade school and got out and been doing it for almost the better part of 11 years now. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times over these years where I've gotten those phone calls or texts or just those conversations I've had with people where their life has been changed. They were maybe on the verge of having another heart attack, or maybe they were diabetic and then they're no longer diabetic. Or I have one lady, her name is Nina. She's worked out with me. She's almost hit 700 workouts. She's been with me for 7 years already. She's about mid 70s. And I mean, if you ask her, why do you work out? She's like, I just don't want to die. So for me, man, it's helping people live longer. It's helping people be their best. You know what I mean? Like I said, training and MMA and doing all this stuff and pushing myself to do stuff I would never have done otherwise, and just being able to pull so much out of myself that it took someone coaching me to do it and someone encouraging me, because I never would have probably tried to do it on my own. And just feeling the the awesomeness of that, man, of achieving something great and doing something that's really, really tough. I love to help coach people in that process and be a part of that, and knowing that, man, whatever we just did is, I know it's making them feel awesome, because, you know, you can, there's the school of thought of, oh, you think great thoughts and you do these things, you're going to feel great. And I think that's kind of bullshit. Like, when you're achieving awesome things, you're going to feel fucking awesome. And I'm helping people do things they never thought they could do. And that's pretty amazing. So,
Micah, thank you very much. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you got things going on. Busy man. But before we let you go, I always like to ask my guests this question. If there's one thing you want to tell the world, you have a world platform right now, what is one thing you would like to tell those individuals?
Man, I would say find your purpose. For me, like I said, it's serving. And a lot of that comes from my Christian background. I believe I'm here, and that everything I've ever been through was to help make someone else's life better. So 1, find your purpose. 2, get around people who believe in you and your purpose and want to see you thrive and move forward towards your purpose. And just love people, man. Show grace to people. Smile at people. Help people when you can. And make the world a better place.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man who I thought I was going to pull more out of you, man. You've done such a great job. Thank you very much for coming on tonight. How can people find you to get and join Camp Gladiator?
I'm on Facebook, Micah Franks. I'm on Instagram as Trainer Micah, and also on Snapchat. I don't even know my Snap handle. But yeah, I'm out there, man. Micah Franks, look me up, Google me, something. I'm here. You know, I'm easy to find.
We have your Instagram right there underneath your face right now. So everybody, if you want to get in shape, if you want to change your life, if you're looking for a new direction, if you want a man to help you find your purpose, go seek out Micah Franks. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Micah. Man,
thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, man.
Our pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
God bless.
God bless, man. Thank you. Man,
Peace out, man. Thanks a lot.
What a great conversation with Micah, man. James, you feeling good? It's like a hype night tonight, isn't it? You had Ross in the first hour just talking about his story and pretty much betting on himself. Then you got Micah Franks telling you to be, spiritual and love people and smile and find your purpose. About half fired up over here, Jack. Yeah. I'm just saying.
You kind of cut me short, man.
I didn't know you had more.
I had some more questions for Michael. I'm gonna have to bring him on over to the dark side, bro.
Hey, that's what I want to hear. That's what you're gonna need to have.
Yeah.
He's a good conversation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think after I told him like, hey man, you can curse, he was like, oh, you can see him kind of loosen up a little bit.
Oh, fuck it.
Oh God. That wasn't for you to drop an F-bomb right there.
You've never told me that.
Well, I mean, it's because you're unhinged at times. Man, what a fun night it is. You know what? I haven't even had to look at my phone the whole night. That's been a really good kind of feeling for me.
Oh, yeah, big time.
17 minutes after the second hour, 8:17. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll give our final thoughts on UFC 260. We'll recap the guest. Man, I'm feeling good right now. I'm a lot more awake than I was when we first started.
Definitely. You and me both.
Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show. Getting back into it, coming from Studio 44. Producer James back at it. Let's find the main card for UFC 261, and we can kind of dive into that a little bit. And once we do, we can kind of make our prognostications. But what is your interpretation? I mean, dude, I was like, I'm ready to go. Like I'm fully awake. I'm like back from the dead. I was extremely tired when I first started, but I feel good now. But for you to kind of meet, you knew Micah, but you had never met Ross. How are you feeling after both those interviews? Little different, right? A lot different from what we're used to.
Yeah.
More in depth.
Yeah,
I would say
for sure.
How are you feeling about it?
I love it, dude. I love it. Like I told you before, this is the reason. This is the reason that I got into podcasting.
The reason.
It's not about, so this is my thing, man. I want to have interesting conversations.
Break it down
with interesting people. But in order to do that, you have to grow your stuff so people want to come talk to you. You know what I mean? So I like it, man. Like hearing Ross's story of, you hear it time and time again, and you hit rock bottom or you hit your low, and you're gonna roll over and die, or are you gonna bounce back and are you gonna be like, fuck this, I'm better than this, and I'm gonna chase it, and yeah,
sack up and get to work.
Yeah, and as far as Micah, I've known Micah since I've known Kalunga, and that's
since you've known me pretty much.
Yeah, that's forever. Well, I've known you as long as I've known Kalunga.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's been I don't know, 10 years.
Yeah. Plus.
Yeah.
Plenty of fight nights over. Yeah.
Then watching me get destroyed on Madden as well. That's the other thing.
You can watch that during our breaks every day.
Yeah, we're gonna do a better job of getting that like framed up so you can tell like that's not the show that's going on. It's more of a break. We'll get that squared away. But let's look at those matchups going into tomorrow's UFC 260. I'll give my pick at the end. What's that main card? Let's look at that main card. I think you passed it.
You said the pre-fights?
No, we're not doing that pre 4:00. Let me start watching UFC at 4 in the afternoon.
Hey, do you want to do this?
It's so crazy.
We'll go to the main card and let's just do picks, and then we'll jot them down. We'll come back Monday. We'll see. Even if we don't know,
you gonna jot them down?
Even if we aren't invested, yeah.
You got your pad and pen over there?
Always, bro.
Dude, you're old school. You got a pad and pen. You got the wealth of the information at your fingertips there on your laptop.
Flip the page and
flip the page. All right. Well, who are we starting with? We're not doing that prelim nonsense.
We're starting with this Jamie. Now I sound like Jason Diggle.
Yeah, I was gonna say
pops and shots. Jamie Mellery versus Kamal Worthy.
I think that's Mueller Key.
Oh, okay.
And then. So I'm going to take, who's the favorite?
Well, I mean, they don't have the betting line here, but they do have the percentage that people, because this is like a picket,
Okay.
So they have the percentage that people have picked.
I'm going to take the American.
Yeah, that's cool because I'm going to ride with the UK.
Okay. That's not the UK, but all right. That's Australia.
Yeah, same thing.
No, it's not. That's a big difference. We're gonna go back to middle school and teach you your flags.
All right. So next we have Jillian Robertson. This is a female fight.
What weight class is this?
Yeah, let me check it out.
Check it out.
It's my first time doing this, man.
I don't know. Either way, I'm gonna ride with the American.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know. I can't. Miranda Maverick.
Yeah, Miranda Maverick. Okay, well, I'll go for the Canadian.
All right, James got one.
God damn it! You made me seem like a dumbass.
You said I'm gonna go with England. Does
that look similar to a?
Hold
UK?
on, let me get to it. There is an English flag in the top left quadrant of the flag, yes, but the other blue and the stars that's Australia.
All right.
It could be New Zealand.
So you took honors.
I took what?
You took honors.
No, man, I took remedial. I had to try hard. That's why I remember it.
All right. We're moving on to Sugar Sean O'Malley Probably the fight that everyone is paying attention to, other than the heavyweight.
Yeah,
fight,
I would
the
say
main
so.
event fight.
Yeah, for sure.
I got to ride with Sean O'Malley.
I'm going to take Alameda.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Brazilian.
Fresh Sugar and Paul Brazilian.
We're going to have this. You're coming over for the fights, right?
Yes, sir.
So we'll have this table side, and we'll kind of go. We'll watch each fight and how they kind of run down.
Watch you crumble. All right. Tyrone Woodley versus Vicente Luque.
I think Luque is the right way to say that. I'm going to take Woodley. I'm going to take the American on this one.
Okay. Well, I'll take, I'll go against Woodley.
Oh, you going to take Luque?
Dude, Woodley, trash.
What is it that you don't like about Woodley? You were so quick to do the 2 thumbs down. As soon as I got Woodley out of my mouth, I was like, geez, what the hell's going on over there?
He tried to say during his reign as the UFC welterweight champion, he tried to claim that the UFC was like holding him back just simply for the fact that he was black. I don't really care.
Really?
Yeah. Really, like, did Woodley claim that, or really is that the reason?
No, like, really,
he
would make that statement.
Oh, he did.
I mean, John Jones was champion. I mean, Anderson Silva was Brazilian, but I mean, he was black.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it? I don't know. We'll get it. Well, maybe that'll be for a topic for another show. But that's really, he would make that claim?
Yeah.
All right. When was he champion? Like 2000 what? 2000 in the teens.
I forgot.
It doesn't matter is what you're saying.
Yeah,
all right.
Pretty much.
All right. Let's get back to it.
Back to the pick'em. We got Steel Pick.
You mean
fucking Steel Pick, that fucking immigrant mentality, motherfuckers. Stipe Miocic versus
God.
Francis Ngannou. You like me channeling my inner Joey Diaz?
That was a really horrible Joey Diaz on that one. I think what it is that you had your mouth was too moist. And you had too much saliva. You needed to be more dry. You know, when Joey's talking, he gets that little white piece of spit in the corner of his mouth, and then it starts coming out everywhere.
On that clip, he had that gum. It was like ready to just fly out, dude. But it was just lingering in there.
You know, it's like one of those old timey uncles where he has the cigarette in his mouth and it's just like bobbing up and down, hanging off the corner of his lip. Like, you know, it's not gonna fall, but you're waiting for it to fall.
Fucking ash is half an inch.
it's like the gum was fixing to fall out of his mouth.
Yeah. Dude, I'm standing by my guns and I'm riding with Stipe, dude. Steel Pick. Yes,
I'm gonna go with Ngannou because I have a feeling I'm looking at this from a marketing point of view, and Ngannou versus John Jones is a better title fight than Stipe and John Jones. I'm just gonna leave it right there.
Did you see what Dana White said?
I mean, what is it gonna matter? I mean, he's the guy running the show.
He said that John Jones is likely to fight the winner right here. John Jones likely to fight UFC 260 main event winner in the fall.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. Just like you were saying. You were saying the other day.
It would be sometime. The only thing is it would be hard. Like, when are you going to do it? I would have to do it like either before September or like right early in September, like maybe Labor Day weekend. That's the only time I would see.
So here's my only question, and of course, you know, Dana White does whatever the fuck he wants. You know, he runs the UFC. But there's been like John Jones. Okay, has he fought at heavyweight ever?
No.
In the UFC?
No.
Why should he jump over weight classes?
Because he was so dominant in the light heavyweight. It's like Amanda Nunes
in the light heavyweight.
It's like right, but he walks around at 230. And he's going to put on muscle to probably come in at like 245. I really have a strong feeling that's what he's going to do.
It's a draw. I mean, I'm going to watch it.
Here's the other half. His brother, Chandler Jones, who plays for the Chiefs, he goes in and wrestles with John Jones. So you're having a 300-pound super athlete, NFL super athlete, grappling with a 230-pound super athlete. And they're brothers, so they grew up together. So they're going to know how to push each other's buttons. They're going to know how to talk shit to each other. And then you have this, you're giving up 70 pounds to this monster of a human who's your brother while you're trying to like train. He's going to, if that goes to the ground, And if Ngannou wins Saturday, Ngannou will not know what the hell to do.
It's gonna be good, dude.
It's gonna be fantastic.
I'm totally looking forward to it.
It's gonna be fantastic.
Yes.
The only thing is where the hell is it gonna be at? Where will the fight location be?
The only thing to me is, I mean, what kind of food you got on deck?
I mean, don't worry about that. You know I come correct.
Yeah, that Paul Rodriguez famous chips and queso.
The queso's legit, no doubt about it. But I think we're gonna wings probably this time, but the next time I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do that big fight on the 24th. That one's gonna be different. I don't know what we're gonna do.
I've always wanted to do a Joe Rogan style. What do they call it? Fight companion.
Fight companion. That's what they call it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. The only thing different with the fight companion is like you have to like be talking about a topic, and then you have to like. Meanwhile, there's an event going on in the background. And you're just like, I don't know. To me, it's kind of distracting because I'm kind of being selfish and I want to just watch the fight. I don't want to have to like I love y'all. I love everybody out there, but I don't know if I want to entertain y'all simultaneously. But maybe it might change. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
If I could do it like from the comfort of my like chair in my living room,
yeah,
maybe.
Put the little microphone up to your mouth. You know?
I mean, maybe we'll just get some like wireless mics or something like that.
So
who's gonna produce it? Yeah, that's the thing. Who else gonna produce it?
I get my favorite guy, Mr. Hershey Kiss himself.
Hershey
Ted Campos, Andrew Campos.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if he's gonna want to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe want to watch the fights.
Yeah, true. You just gotta have that Rogan. We can talk bullshit, but when something happens,
oh,
yep.
But then the people can't see what happened. That's the thing. And there's a delay because you're on the internet from whenever it's streaming live. That's the only thing.
True. How does Rogan pull it off? Because he's Rogan,
dude. He's a direct connection to the UFC.
True.
He's like, Dana, why don't you let us get the direct feed from the satellite,
Right.
and young Jamie over there will get it linked up so we can have that done correctly while we take these edibles down real quick.
You think that conversation's taking place?
Maybe. I don't know.
Come on, Dana. Just let us have a little square in the top right.
A little square.
I fucking deal, bitch.
You're gonna have to work on that.
All right, man.
All right, guys. That's been the show. It's off the rails. We got James over here trying to act like a New York Cuban American. Or no, he is Cuban, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Joey Diaz is a funny guy.
Yeah.
I like how he always just says whatever he's feeling at the time. It doesn't matter what everything's going on. Okay.
You sound like Stipe now, post fight.
Oh my God. All right, we're done. Bye.